I've come here, I've been involved in Edgewater politics since 1999, and during that time, I've been subjected to ridicule, physical attacks, verbal attacks. My family's endured the same. In fact, the prosecutor had to come and put cameras in my business because they were worried about my safety. And yet I still come here, meeting after meeting, and I sit here and I look at your faces, and you give me that disdain, that look of disdain. And then you ask me, is there anything I like about Edgewater? I can't think of another reason why I would subject myself to this every 2 weeks. To come here and try to have a dialogue. In fact, Mayor, I met with you before you decided to run for the mayor, and you asked me if there was any way that I could see that we could all work together, and I said absolutely, absolutely. But it has to be a two-way dialogue. It can't be this governing body putting things out there to the public, and we just sit and accept it as law, and it's not fair. And I've met with you several times, and we discussed it, and I thought I was always open to the possibilities. But that's as far as it went, the meeting and the talk. And then when you come here to a public meeting, there's something entirely different. Now, I've had many, many disagreements, God knows, with the former mayor, Brian Christensen. But I have to tell you one thing. He ran a meeting where there was a conversation. There was an open dialogue. And perhaps you should go on a field trip with Mr. Bozier to when he's the attorney for Montvale. If you have, what is that, FiOS, you can watch it on Channel 35. It's amazing. The governing body actually has a dialogue with the public. Yes, the public gets 5 minutes, but while there's a back and forth, you're not minusing the public's 5 minutes. So what is the purpose of me coming here time and time again, asking you a question, a simple question? Has somebody met with the local developer? I didn't name who it is, although I do know who it is. I asked you a simple question, a yes or no or nothing. You know, former Brian Christian, former mayor, allowed that. He knew he was strong enough in his position that he wasn't intimidated by the dialogue. Whether I agreed with it or not, I have to give him that. There was a back and forth. And I just want to say that although it's, you might not agree, but dissent is being patriotic. Discourse is. It's an objective discussion where we both can come to an agreement or not. But we talk about the topics, and for some reason, I don't feel like I'm in the United States when I'm here. You just sit there and you stare, and you do nothing. I have not had an answer to any of my questions at all. So if you want to ask me what I like about Edgewater, I'd like to take an extra minute, God, I'll have to pay for it somehow, and tell you, I love the service I receive from the DPW. I love that we have so many dedicated people who volunteer on the fire department and the first aid squad, who come out in the middle of the night to help people they don't even know. I love EDG school and believe that it's a shining light for the great things that come from just diversity. I love that we have 2 females on the police force. I believe they're a good example to young kids everywhere. I love that outside my back door of my house, I can look at the Palisades, and outside my front door, I can see the Hudson River. I used to love my church, and in fact, I still do love it. I just don't go to it anymore because this Democratic, local Democrats, I should say, the local Democrats, because it probably wasn't most of you sitting here now, brought politics into the church and hurt myself and my very best friend by handing out leaflets in church and putting up posters in front of church and wearing buttons at church. And I really, really, you cannot believe the havoc you guys have wreaked on people's lives. And then to come here and have to be told, you have 5 minutes to get what you want to say, and you're not going to discuss it anymore. Well, you know, you got reelected. There was no opposition. But don't pat yourselves on the back. There is a lot of opposition. It's just that people are intimidated or too busy to come and run against you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. Anyone else wish to be heard? Hearing none, I'll close the open portion of the meeting.
I'd like to hear your answer, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment regarding the open session.
Could I just, Mary, do you have a name for the foreman there? I'm sorry. Who runs the 45 project? Yeah.
I don't have it with me.
Yeah, I don't have his name. Mary will get it to you.
Yeah,
What?
I'm on my breath.
Oh.
Mary, you'll get the answer. What time is it on the hour?
It's supposed to be 7:45 to 3:15 that the westbound lane is closed.
Before that.
Might suggest that you make it later. They don't begin work until 9 o'clock.
As far as Dennis, I know you're referring to the Gobble paving, I believe. You had an excavation. I know as far back as I can remember. I mean, I'm not saying he was a little kid, but I know he's had his yard there for a while. And I spoke with John about it at the last couple of times you brought it up. He's been stockpiling dirt and moving it and removing it. It wasn't a concern for me for the stockpiling.
Go down there and take a look. It's fresh, it's raw,
Okay.
it's being carved into right now, and they don't have a permit.
I don't believe it's necessarily being carved into. He's replacing it. He's stockpiling his dirt from jobs.
Go down and take a look.
Maybe there should be some kind of watch that we make sure that it's all cleaned up.
And as I pointed out, we had no idea where it came from, how much it was. There's no regulation going on, and we actually have an ordinance. It can be looked up in our ordinance book, and you find out what you can and cannot do. It's not being observed.
In regards to the colony, I believe that it was discussed and I believe it was implemented that, certain part, other than from one point on, the colony is aware that they're going to be picking up a tab for the efforts that we put forth in regards to the riparian, the negotiations we have with the DEP. So they're aware of it. It's not taxpayer dollars that we're spending. Mr. Hanyu.
You're keeping records?
Yes. Mr. Hanyu.
Surprised. Yes.
I apologize. I'll tell you, Mr. Hanyu, I enjoy coming up to your colony and walking around with you, and any time I have a discussion.
My problems remain unchanged.
My kids appreciate the call every day and filling up my answering machine. They know you by name, and someday I'd like you to meet them. But at the end of the day, Mr.
Isn't that unfortunate?
I don't agree with you. All right,
Obviously.
You have a battle with the colony, and I don't believe it's a borough battle. And I wish I could do something to make you happy, but
Well, you could. You could check the charter and see if what they're doing is legal. It is not. They don't have an authorized quorum.
Yeah, Mr. Hennu came to Borough Hall this afternoon requesting the colony tax list, which the assessor prepares on a yearly basis. Mr. Hennu was provided that document.
No.
He says no, but he was.
No.
Also, I made a special trip up north today after Mr. Hennu called my office, and I accepted his call like I normally do.
You do not.
That's your opinion, sir.
That's a fact. I have to call you repeatedly because you do not call me
I
back.
took the tax map with me and I charted out the common addresses within the area that Mr. Hennu is commenting on. And there very well may have been an address plaque at one time on the west side of River Road that said 1445. However, the addresses that we have on file and the addresses posted on the homes are not what Mr. Hennu says or claims they are.
There's paperwork on that 1445 River Road.
Also, Mayor,
You told me it was Colin.
Mr. Henry, please, you have your chance, please.
I received
I don't have my chance. I have no chance here.
employee today about Mr. Hennu's behavior, hence my comment in regard to barring Mr. Hennu from entering the building. So,
Whoa.
Phil, do you have any response to Mr. Henry in regards to his rights?
Yes, Mayor. I have addressed Mr. Henry's continuing complaint that he believes he has certain rights that relate to his ownership interest in the colony. His ownership rights in that homeowner's arrangement they have up there is very similar to anybody's homeowner's rights, whether they live in a townhouse or a condominium. Those rights are subject to modification, they're subject to change, there's rules and regulations over a period of time. Whatever he disagrees with, it is a personal dispute with the other homeowners who share the same organizational documents that are very similar to any townhouse or condominium, virtually every other type of residential ownership.
The organization documents are hidden.
Please,
We have
Mr.
not
Henry,
seen
please,
them.
Mr. Henry,
I'm
please.
correcting him, he's telling lies.
He couches his allegations that we have a responsibility to personally get involved in his private dispute with this
10,000 people.
association. We do not. This happens all the time. There is a way for homeowners to address their grievances. There are rules, there are regulations, and unfortunately...
And they're not being observed.
Most of those decisions are done by a majority vote.
No, charter
which
documents.
determines the direction that that particular ownership organization will go. He obviously disagrees. I've said it repeatedly. It is not our responsibility